Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, Your Honor, opposing counsel, my name is John Marks, and you just heard the case of the State of Illinois versus Mr. Patrick Hopper. As I stated in my opening remarks, Mr. Hopper is protected by an assumption of innocence and will remain so until or unless you come from your final deliberation to find him guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of the two charges levied against him by the state: burglary and theft. Ladies and gentlemen, the state would have you believe that Mr. Hopper is a young man harboring a grudge and animosity towards his teacher, Mr. Smith, after receiving a failing grade. They will have you believe that Mr. Hopper is more than capable of breaking into the Smith residence and stealing an autographed Michael Jordan basketball jersey. I submit to you, ladies and gentlemen, that this is not the case at all. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard testimony from Ms. Parsons, Mr. Hopper's guidance counselor, that Mr. Hopper is a good boy both on and off the court. He's very good at basketball. He's amazing at it. In fact, he is so good that he is getting a scholarship for his talent and devotion to the sport. Ladies and gentlemen, when Mr. Hopper went to the Smith residence, his only intention was to return a math test, nothing more. Ladies and gentlemen, you also heard testimony from Officer Charles. He stated that no item was reported stolen on the day of the alleged crime. He also pointed out that Mr. Smith had the opportunity to report stolen items but did not do so. In fact, Mr. Smith merely filed an insurance claim for the stolen property. Mrs. Smith claims that she saw Mr. Hopper in the library on the day of the alleged crime, but if she saw that, wouldn't she then return to the library to check and see if this precious heirloom was missing? Ladies and gentlemen, you also heard testimony from Detective Alex Wright about alleged phone conversations between Mr. Hopper and a teammate. The state speculates that these phone conversations were about plans to get even with Mr. Smith. However, even after expert analysis of Mr. Hopper's phone records, as well as speculation about plans between Mr. Hopper and a teammate to plot against Mr. Smith, Detective Wright admits that there is no way to know what these phone conversations were about. As far as he knows, as I brought up in my cross-examination, any phone call that Mr. Hopper would have made could have simply gone to voicemail, and a record of the call would have still been shown as being made. And can we really seal Mr. Hopper's fate on that? Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Hopper just became an adult. He has his entire life ahead of him. I submit to you that there were many people who went in and out of the Smith residence on the day of the open house. It is almost impossible to keep track of everyone, and it is possible that a stranger stole what is obviously a very valuable item. In summation, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you cannot prove that Mr. Hopper is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt because reasonable doubt exists. I submit to you, ladies and gentlemen, that in your deliberation you find Mr. Patrick Hopper not guilty. And I would like to thank you for your interest in serving justice in your duty as U.S. citizens.